Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is part 2 of my rose quartz press-on nail set. What I'm going to be doing is focusing on the ring finger today. I'm aiming to do a full rose quartz nail encapsulated in gel, so the entire nail is going to be like that. What I'll do, I'll list all of the products in the description box below that I use during the process, but they're on the screen for you right now as well, so let's get started. So setting up my palette, which is always my first point of call, I've gone in with Desert Rose. You'll remember from the previous video that I absolutely adore this colour. Popping in some base and top coat by Neo Nails as well. That's to allow the colour to go more translucent, which will allow us to create the depth. Then I'm popping on my palette some Cotton Candy. It is a almost white pale pink, so I'm popping a little bit of that on there, and I'll explain why as we go through. So I've got my full cover tip there, and I'm going in with a gel polish brush and ensuring that I mix that base and top coat with the coloured polish, gel polish that I wanted to use. Like I said, it does make it translucent, which is allowing us to create the depth of the quartz. So mixing that up really, really well, and then I will put a really, really thin layer to start off with. So super thin layer onto that nail tip. I've already prepped that nail tip before the video, so I had ensured that I'd buffed the nail tip, shaped it to how I wanted it to be, and then applied a base coat as well, just to be on the safe side and make sure we don't get any peeling of the gel polish. So once I've put that thin layer of the colour onto the nail, I will then go in with a lining brush, striping brush, sorry, and I will pop that into the Cotton Candy, making sure that I drag the brush through so that the brush itself is actually coated really well, and then really lightly and quite sporadically, you don't want to be all symmetrical with this, I'm dragging that brush through, and what the base and top coat will do, it allows it to bloom slightly. You can use a blooming gel, but I think because it is such fine detail, it may bloom too much and you'll lose the crispness. So I've gone in with one coat, and then what I've done here is I'm just going to leave you to it for a moment, because I have actually sped this up for the next few layers. You repeat this process 3 or 4 times, and making sure in between each layer that you are curing it for the full time required by the products that you're using. I'll list all of that in the description box below as well. So keep watching, guys. I'll be back shortly. You'll also see here, guys, when I'm pulling the brush through, if you were wanting to create a really perfect line, you'd apply even pressure, but I'm actually changing the pressure of my brush application, which allows it to splay out slightly. Just gives it a little bit more irregularity. Okay, so once you've applied 3 or 4 layers and it's all been cured, what I'm doing is going in with the Cool One Step Gel by BlingLine, just to encapsulate that look. So I'm doing a really, really thin slip layer of the Cool One Step Gel first. That is to allow the product to know where it needs to go, really. It will begin to self-level into the right places. It will have a path of movement, basically. So a really thin slip layer there to make sure that that's possible. Then what I've done is I've gone in with a small bead, because we're not wanting to add masses of bulk onto this nail. It is an encapsulation and a strengthener for the press on, but the more you apply, the more rigid the nail will be. So applying a false nail, if it's too thick with a gel or acrylic, will make it quite difficult for application. So it is only quite a fine layer that we're applying. Definitely not the amount you apply if you were extending the nail yourself. So very thin layer of the builder gel there, Cool One Step Builder Gel. It's a tickling and dragging process that I'm using to bring the gel into place. As I said, it does self-level quite a bit, so it is quite nice to go into all the nooks and crannies it needs to be. So base and top coat again. This is the final stage of the transformation. I always love doing this bit. So we're going to pop on some top coat, and look at that detail coming through there. So it just brings everything together. What you'll need to do is then pop that in the lamp for the full cure time. It is a base and top coat, so there will be a sticky residue layer. If you like what you've seen so far, please do hit the subscribe button, but here's the finished result.